and welcome, good morning to the Camnet Breakfast Show right here at Camnet TV. My name is Sarah Chanavanga and I'm not alone on set. I am with Precious Muzea Sakaleji. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
It's cold. Man.
It's really cold.
What?
It's cold. It's really cold. I think the weather has changed. You know, the past 2 days it's been showering.
It's been drizzling.
Yeah. Yes.
Because, you know, the funny part is that when it's morning, the weather seems like it's going to be okay. But after 8, 9, it becomes pretty cold.
Yeah.
So you can be deceived in the morning when you're dressing up to say, Akasuana Kafuma. So I might just, listen up. It's really cold. 9 to 10 hours. And this is actually the time that we get to have high numbers of COVID-19 because it's cold. So just make sure that you keep warm and always wear your mask. Hand sanitizer, use it when you get a chance to. And like I always preach about having even a small bar soap in your bag. If you get a chance to find where there's water, you can wash your hands. But it's getting cold. And you know when it's getting cold, you don't like touching water.
Not at all.
Yeah, just make sure that you're safe. Anyways, good morning to you once again. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. Like Sarah mentioned, we've got so many stuff outlined for you, updating you on current affairs that you missed during the course of the week, and also a topic of discussions that will come to. We'll have quite a number of guests that will come and highlight more. People are counting down, or different stakeholders and political parties are actually keeping an eye and have keen interest in the new Dawn administration and also their works, making sure that they fulfill the promises that they gave to the Zambian people. So we are in the 10th, if not in 10th month actually, of the new Dawn government in government, and also we've received different emotions and also different feedbacks, criticism from political parties and also the citizenry at large. So we'll be having someone just to discuss how it has been, the journey for the United Party for National Development, which is the current government, has been so far. Well, right about now, before we waste much of your time, let's quickly get into your segment, the first segment of the day, which is the Morning Boost. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to our morning boost. And remember always to try do this at home early in the morning before you start your day. This is not the main workout, but this is just to help you get started your day and keep fit. So therefore, let's go. We're gonna keep it easy today. We'll make some aerobics movements. Aerobics is good for you, for blood circulation, to control your blood pressure, and also to make sure that you stay fit. So we're going to make some basic moves in aerobics. Let's go. Very easy. We start with marching. Go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to our show. Let's go. Step touch. Last one. Hamstring. Last one. Knee high. Last one. Lateral legs. Last one. We're going to put now all the 4 together. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go. Last one. And knee high. Last one. Stiff touch. Last one. Step touch. Last one. Knee high. And marching. Keep marching, keep marching, keep marching. We're gonna change now. 2 knee each. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's keep pushing. I know you feel like giving up. Check with your neighbor how many minutes you've done. Let's go. Go. 2 each. Now let's do it faster. Change. 1, 2. 4. 4 each. Last 4. 2 each. 2. 2. 2. 3 each. Go. And marching. Go. How are you feeling on your legs? Let's go now. March, 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 march. Keep marching. We're almost there. Let's go. March, 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 march. My producer is dancing behind the camera. I wish I can show you. Let's march. Let's go. Bring in a V step now. It was a pleasure doing a workout with you this morning. I look forward to another workout with you. Make sure stay fit and enjoy the rest of your day. This is Isaac Matsa, and guess what? I'm signing out. Thank you.
Well, welcome back. Like we always mention after that exercise is that you don't have to wait for the breakfast show on Saturdays for you to work out. I know it's pretty cold, and waking up early in the morning to do workouts seems kind of impossible.
Yeah,
just do it from your house. And also, I noticed one thing, Sarah. Dieting during the cold season is not possible.
Not at all. Definitely
It's not possible. I know there's some explanation. I know the explanation, but I just don't want to mess it up. But dieting, if you're thinking of dieting in the cold season, is not the right time to do so.
Impossible.
So if you feel like your weight is not pleasing to your eyes, well, you might as well just reduce some portion, food portion.
Yeah, just
and also just avoid certain foods for some time. As for me, if I want to, I do a lot of dieting because if I gain a certain weight, I fail to walk. Not that I can't stand and walk, but I fail to walk long distances.
Oh, okay.
When I do a long distance, my legs usually swell. So there's a certain weight I need to maintain. So when I exceed that, usually I don't even go on like powerful diets. No, just stay off carbs for some time, fast food and sugars for some time, and then get back to it. So
I think for me, it doesn't work like that. We eat. we don't gain. We don't, okay, gaining, I think it just comes at a certain period of time. But like diet and all that, expecting yourself to gain, it's very impossible.
It's very impossible.
It's very impossible for me. I eat.
Oh, to your wife. 5 lambs every day. No change of the weight. But anyways, I hope you try and balance your. And also, it's important to have a balanced diet.
Yes, very much important.
A fruit away keeps the a fruit a day keeps the doctor away. Something like that. This is something about fruits and doctors, but hope you get it. But anyways,
fruits are very important.
They're very important. While we're talking about keeping healthy and eating balanced diet, let's get into the health corner and see what we have today.
morning. Welcome to Camnet TV. My name is Dr. Asambang. I'm from the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. For the past few days, we've been discussing about hepatitis B. May I add that care is available for hepatitis B patients, and it is available at the University Teaching Hospital, Kanyama, as well as Matero. It is also available for anyone who would like to be educated more about what it is, how it is acquired, what is the treatment. May I mention that there is acute or chronic HBV. Acute simply means that someone may present with a raised ALT, but have a viral load that's less than 2,000 for less than 6 months. And then they may also present with yellowing of their eyes, yellowing of their palms. Then after about a couple of months, less than 6 months though, those symptoms may disappear. That's what we would call acute hepatitis B. Now, when it comes to chronic hepatitis B, that is when it is long-standing, and someone may have it for 10 years and 20 years and feel absolutely normal. Remember, hepatitis B is unique. It is treated on a case-by-case basis. One size does not fit all. And each person is treated based on what we find. Our goal is to ensure that hepatitis B does not develop into liver cancer. Many people have died because they did not receive treatment when they were diagnosed with hepatitis B. Others have been diagnosed with it, yet it is unknown what they should do and how they should proceed. I encourage you to access any of the facilities that I mentioned. Consult your doctor. And also, teledoctor is available if you do feel the need to reach out and to ask questions. I am available on that platform for more questions regarding hepatitis B. Please note that when you receive this diagnosis, it is life-altering. However, it is not the end of your life. There is hope. Treatment is available. Though there may not be a cure, it does not mean that you cannot thrive and have a fulfilling life. And so once again, access our healthcare facilities. If you or your family member or anyone else that you know who requires hepatitis B care, we are always here for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Dr. Asambang from the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. Thank you for tuning in to Camnet TV. Good day.
And welcome back. I hope you have got educated on that. We had to watch that clip concerning the hepatitis B care.
I like how calm she was. I think it's because of the type of conversation she was having, or the topic that the discussion she was having. Inflammation of the liver. I actually didn't know that she can be prevented by a vaccine.
Definitely, it
Hepatitis B.
B care.
B care.
Yeah, it deals out with the liver transplant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inflammation
of the liver and all that.
We don't want to complicate
anyway,
things.
we don't want to complicate things.
But anyways, yes, that actually tips on how you can have it, and also on how it can be prevented. That's actually good to know that vaccines actually work. So if you feel that there is some stuff like that, or some medical condition that is aligned in those directions, you might as well go to the hospital and get proper prescription from the doctors. Avoid self-prescriptions, because that might endanger your life and also the person that you are prescribing some medicines for. Yes, we know our parents have actually been there, and they know certain symptoms, and they can actually decide what medication to give you when such is happening, or when you get a certain condition. But the best is actually to go and see a doctor for professional prescriptions. If you've just joined us, we are still on the Camnet Breakfast Show, and we're discussing how it has been so far with the New Dawn administration in power. 2 more months to go before we count to 365 days, which is a year. So we'll be having a guest that will actually talk on housing poverty during this time. Right about now, we'll quickly get into the money market and see how the stock exchange rate looks like as of today.
So the United States dollar is buying at 16 kwacha 0.75 ngwe, and it is selling at 17 kwacha 0.08 ngwe. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha 0.89 ngwe, and it is selling at 19 kwacha 0.26 ngwe. The British pound, it is buying at 20 kwacha 0.76 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 0.16 ngwe. Then the South African rand, it is buying at 1 kwacha 0.06 ngwe, and it is selling at 1 kwacha 0.08 ngwe.
Well, there you have it. Now remember, you can actually call in and give us your views and opinions. So how do you think the current New Dawn government is doing so far, as you if you have been paying attention to what has been going on? Me, I remember the time that we were actually announcing the results. I actually got an opportunity to be on the political desk for the first time, because I don't like talking about politics. I mentioned to say I'm going to give the New Dawn government 3 years to work it out, because I personally feel, even when you're at work, when you're at work and you keep on looking at time, if you keep on looking at time to say, I need to knock off at 17, if you just take a few minutes, you find that only 3 minutes has passed, and you feel like time is not moving. So I feel like if you give certain projects a period of time for it to grow and analyze, adapt, settle, make changes, adjustments and stuff like that, you will see the growth. So far, I feel so far so good. The introduction of free education, the community development fund increasing by over 80%, from 1 million to actually more than 20 million. For me, that's a lot. And also, so far so good. Out of 10, I would give it. I would give it a 3.
A 3 is okay.
I'm waiting for the 7, because it's 5 years. Office is 5 years.
So a 3 is fine. Very fair.
I'll give it for now, because it's just 11 months.
3 out of 10.
10 months. More than 5 months.
And for me, I'll rate it, I think, from, let's see, up to 10, 2.5.
That's a 5.
Yes,
that's you.
That's me. That's me.
Our opinions are not your opinion,
yes,
and that's the opinions of
Camnet
TV. So you can also come to and tell us how you think the New Dawn government is currently doing, and also things that you feel need to be prioritized, and also what needs to be done to make sure that your needs are satisfied. Because during the time of campaign, political parties come with different promises and stuff like that, and half the time people don't even know the people they're voting for, especially when it comes to community level. There are people that haven't seen their councillors from the time the elections ended.
Not at all.
But after 5 years, you would definitely see them. Or
You
during
will
a
see
by-election, you would definitely see them. So as a citizen, my advice is just take time to know your community, the person that's in your community, MPs, councillors, mayors, and stuff like that. We can't say no the president because he is all over you. Yes, you know what he's up to, you know his trips, those things.
That's why
announced.
they are available when it comes to the councillor and the MP. They should be available for the community and for the people at large.
Because the community voted for you.
Definitely. They had to vote for you. Then you don't have to disappoint them by maybe not hearing or getting their needs. So it's better you stay by their side. Whenever they're facing a challenge as a community, always attend to it.
Not
door to door, but you know, just gathering the community and attending to their needs. It's very much important. Very important.
But anyways, our topic of discussion comes in line with a story that we carried out yesterday, where 12 opposition political parties convened in Lusaka Friday to discuss the affairs of the Zambia's social and economic status under the United Party for National Development, UPND. Now, Patriotic Front Acting Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa says opposition leaders in Zambia are united to ensure that the misgovernance by the United Party for National Development must not be perpetrated longer than necessary. So this story actually gets us into zooming into the headlines. We'll be back after this.
Meeting here today, 12 opposition leaders met today to discuss the affairs of the country and to chart a way forward, to give hope to the Zambian people on the failures of the UPND, because as opposition, we are the government in waiting, and we just want to agree on how to operate and work with each other.
The message is very clear, okay, that the UPND government came into power with the trademark of lying. That HH and the UPND have continued to lie to the Zambian people, that even as their campaign promises have not been delivered, the man has no sense of humility to apologize to the Zambian people.
People are struggling to survive out there. So that's the biggest opposition that you have yourselves in your homes. You don't have to wait for anybody to tell you. And you know, long gone are politics whereby something is happening and then you're just quiet, something is happening and you're waiting. Waiting for what? There's a correlation between the way you vote and the way you live. I always say that. There's that correlation. And right now the correlation is that what the people voted for is absolutely a disappointment, you know. So people do have a chance to rectify this. And like what President Kabimba said, we don't have to wait for 10, 20 years. 2026, let's do the right thing.
We may be different political parties. I know somebody who ran to say now they are forming a coalition. Now, no. We came together as leaders, different political parties, to share ideas on various issues relating to our country. And I'm sure my other leaders will not will permit me to say some of the issues would be like the issues relating to, you know, the cost of living.
Well, there you have it. Away from during the elections where we see different political parties, and away from the reason why they met up, for me, them meeting up peacefully and having discussion, away from what the discussion was about, is a good thing.
Definitely.
Looking at different political party leaders meeting up and
gathering and discussing about the challenges or the problems that the country is facing.
And expectations from the new Dawn government.
Yes, it's really good. It's a good sign. I think it's the first time.
Well, it happens, but it's not all the time, and also that shows an example of Ubuntu, because I don't understand why you are going to fight someone because they support a certain political party. There are your leaders. Look at them. They're literally meeting up and having discussions for national interest's sake, and also for your sake as their followers or their party members. I don't like to use the term cadres. I don't like that word. But it's a good thing that that's happening. So if your leaders can actually meet up and have proper discussions without pangas, without cursing and without hating each other, then I feel you as a political party member
There is no need to be doing
They're
that.
showing by example, and you should
Yeah, good
actually
leader
do the
leads
same.
by
Yes.
example.
But anyways, another story attached to our topic of discussion today is the Opposition Patriotic Front members of Parliament have lamented over what they term as the United Party for National Development's failure to live up to the expectations of Zambians as evidence in the implementation of policies that are seemingly anti-pro-poor.
Members of Parliament have the duty to represent the electorates in their respective constituencies, and they do that in the House through various mechanisms such as debating, asking questions, and formulating laws, among others. However, opposition members of Parliament still feel they are facing limitations to fully express their views and have resorted to engaging the Fourth Estate to register their position on urgent national matters. The lawmakers opposed the approaches taken by the governing United Party for National Development, including on the Farmers Input Support Program (FISIP), by sticking to the direct supply system as opposed to the electronic voucher system, which has minimal pitfalls. Other issues include the setting up of the Africa Command Center, AFRICOM, by the United States government and the escalating cost of living, among other matters. Leader of the opposition in Parliament, Brian Mundubile, led a group of PF members of Parliament.
So some of the questions that we're asking in Parliament are in that 97%, which is not being talked about. Even if CDF was to be implemented 100%, properly done, finished, is 2.3% of the budget. Now, 9 months, we are 6 months into the budget. We have not even implemented this 2.3%. So other people have come up to ask for us to rate the UPNG. I'm saying, what is there to rate? Because if we haven't even performed in the 2.3%, how are we going to rate them? So that remains a very difficult question for us to answer.
Meanwhile, Deputy Opposition Parliamentary Chief Whip Stephen Kampyongo has predicted that the cost of living will continue to journey upwards as government allegedly seems adamant to prioritize underprivileged citizens.
Within the enclosed, it means the prices of fuel, which is now coming in finished products, will not be controlled by government. So there's no government that doesn't control issues of fuel. The SI we left, which gave cushion in terms of duties that are paid on fuel, is expiring this month. They just extended it from December to June. We were waiting to see if they're extending it, but even then, it won't help, because when we had Indian, you could import crude oil for about 3 months to 4 months. Meaning, when you start refining, the prices will remain constant.
And PF Kwacha constituency member of Parliament, Joe Malanji, has cautioned the UPND against brandishing all former government officials corrupt.
Because I've seen some government officials even say it on open platforms, say these thieves. You cannot label somebody a thief who has not been taken to the courts of law. And I think it will only be in order that our colleagues in government refrain from that approach, because at the end of the day, once these people who they claim to be thieves are acquitted, it will be a big task for them to go around the country to say, we are sincerely sorry, these people were not thieves.
And PF Lunte constituency lawmaker Muto Twekafwaya also shared his views during the press conference.
Which was initially triggered by the leader of opposition to do with the debate around Africa has become regional as well as national. Now, because of its importance, there's an interest I had. I wanted you, my colleagues from the media, to inquire into this issue by finding out whether this decision was a decision of cabinet or it was a decision taken unilaterally by maybe a member of cabinet.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Well, there you have it. Our topic of this discussion for today is addressing housing poverty under the new Dawn government. And also we're asking you, the viewers, if you can rate how the current government is doing from the time that they got empowered. Also, if there are certain concerns that you feel should be addressed and prioritized, 0968 675273 0968 675 273 is the number that you can get in touch. Now, we're still zooming into the headlines. One of the stories that caught my attention is that of a traffic police officer almost being ran over by a motorist.
Yes. That one.
There's so many questions.
Definitely. What happened? How did he find himself in front? But anyway, not only that, you know,
how did he get off? Because that guy wasn't stopping anytime soon.
You know, it's really caught everybody's attention on social media. So, would love to know more on what really happened.
Here's how I'm trying to visualize what really happened. Traffic police officer trying to probably control traffic and making sure that there's order on the road. We see a lot of those. So now I'm thinking this is the person, I don't know if he had he didn't have certain papers, road tax, maybe stuff like that, fitness and stuff like that. And then he was being stopped and then he was just thinking of driving off. And then the traffic police officer thought, if the car is moving, if I move this side up, I might be bashed. If I move this side, I might. So let me just hold on. That's scary. That's really traumatizing. Very traumatizing. Because if you fell, he was going to be run over.
Definitely. And he would have been dead by now. But so anyway, we just thank God he's fine.
Yes,
despite what happened.
Offenders need to actually face the law because that was harsh.
That was really
and very unnecessary. But anyways, let's get into the story and get more details.
A video has gone viral on social media where a police officer is seen hanging from the wipers of a Hino truck in an attempt to save his life as the truck is seen moving without making a stop. Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Mr. Danny Mwale has explained that the said incident happened on 7th June 2022 around 14 hours along Lumumba Kafua traffic lights as the traffic officer while regulating traffic was almost run over by the truck which did not stop despite being given a signal. Mr. Mwale says the truck which was being driven by a 29-year-old man identified as Smart Piri of Kamala South did not stop, forcing the police officer to hang onto the wipers for fear of being run over. He explains that in an attempt to save his life, the traffic officer jumped off the truck to the side, sustaining minor injuries.
He was rushed to Chawama Level 1 Hospital, where he was attended to and later discharged. Smart Piri did not stop the vehicle. Other motorists who were around the place managed to give a chase and impounded the vehicle.
Mr. Mwale has since cautioned motorists against disobeying traffic officers, warning of the full wrath of the law.
We are there to maintain law and order. We are not there to fight anyone. No. We are there to make sure that security, order prevails. People go around, do their businesses in an orderly manner. We are not there to fight anyone. So it's unfortunate that Smart Piri has landed himself in this situation. We will take him to court and he's going to explain for himself.
The accused has since been detained in police custody awaiting court appearance while his motor vehicle has been impounded. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Still so many questions?
I think so.
Because I stand to be corrected. When you are on the road, or a motorist, and you buy a car, your details are in the system, isn't it? So if you have an offense and you try to drive away, that's not very smart. Because
it's not very smart.
And his name is Smart Piri. He wasn't smart enough. They'll write down your number plate, and if they put it in the system, they'll know who's. Even if you're driving a car that's not registered under your name and someone else bought it, they'll definitely communicate with the person the details are under. So don't try that.
Don't try that.
Don't try that. Just pay.
Definitely, in fact, or you are required to do something, just buy it.
And you know what you buy? You know, buying a car is yeah, you can buy a car, but getting it registered and documentation and stuff is something else. There's so many things that you need to pay for. It's not like clothes. Even clothes, when you buy clothes, when you wear them and they get dirty, you need to buy washing powder.
Yeah, you have to
wash them, get them clean.
Everything has a process.
Exactly.
So I think you have to take it, not doing what he did. Mr. Smart
looks like comedy, but that's really traumatizing for the traffic police officer, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But anyway, it's not the first time such is happening. We've heard of people, motorists, actually fighting with traffic police officers. And the spokesperson actually mentioned, we're not here to fight anybody. They're just there to keep law and order on the road. So just follow
the rules.
The rules. Simple and straightforward. We don't have cars yet, but anyways, getting into another story that caught our attention. We're waiting to see how many teachers have actually been recruited, but then there's a different opinion from the TIZ. They feel that there shouldn't be any interference, and also there are some allegations that there are people from either opposition or we have a caller before we get into our other story. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, how are you?
Well, all right, thank you. Who are we talking to and where are you calling us from?
Yes, please. This is the Taekwepa house calling from Matero.
Yes, please, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I'd like to make a contribution towards this driver who had to drive when the policeman was in front. Yes. My contribution is that it's like people, motorists have taken an advantage because the minister said there are no roadblocks on the road. The minister did not say that there are no laws that govern the usage of our public roads. And this driver should really get what he deserves, because he would have killed a man who was discharging his loyal duties. And it's a warning to other motorists that not having roadblocks does not mean there are no laws that should govern us as Zambians, and we are supposed to respect the Zambia police because they are there to save our lives. It is very unfortunate that a normal living being can behave that way. That is really very, very bad. And as a concerned citizen, I still say, motorists, please respect the traffic officers. When you're involved in accidents, those are the people who come and help you. So please, let's be cautious on the road, and I'm sure he is regretting wherever he is now. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you too. Well, valid points there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, there was an announcement where roadblocks were actually suspended, I don't know if you can call it banned, but then he's brought out a point to say that doesn't mean there are no laws that actually govern. And in as much as the roadblocks were suspended for some time, it doesn't mean that traffic police officers cannot be on the road and control order or have order on the roads. But anyways, we get into our next story, and also remember that you can call in and discuss on a topic that you feel has caught your attention, zooming into the headlines or anything that caught your attention during the course of the week on 0968 675 273. That's 0968 675 273. Let's get into TIZ's concern on the recruitment of teachers.
Now we have heard allegations of government or ruling party officials submitting lists of their own or withdrawing lists that have been submitted to the Teaching Service Commission on the basis that the people on those lists were not deserving to be recruited. We would like to caution that political interference really does have the potential to undermine this entire recruitment exercise and to even cause a loss of public trust even in government interventions and programs going forward. So we would like to call on the UPND administration to see to it that they stamp out whatever form of impropriety may be taking place in the teacher recruitment exercise. The UPND was elected in part on the basis of the promise they made to the Zambian people that they were going to do things differently in every respect. And so we think that it would be a betrayal of the trust and aspirations of the Zambian people for the UPND to continue the anomalies that we have seen in the past in terms of such processes. So we really do challenge them and urge them to stamp this out and see to it that this process is alienated from the anomalies that we have witnessed in the past, because it is not going to be in anyone's interest for this process to be the subject of corruption and other forms of impropriety.
Well, there you have it. There was a cry during the announcement of recruitment of teachers and also medical personnel that it should be transparent.
Yes, definitely.
And also, I remember the Anti-Corruption Commission actually, what's the word?
Made it clear, or
made it no. There's the word I'm trying to put together, where they got some officers and spread them around different districts so that it should be transparent and no unnecessary or fishy behavior. And also TIZ's concern is actually very concrete, and we're hoping that that's not the case, because these are just allegations. We're waiting to see how many names will actually be published, but soon the announcements will be done. Now quickly moving into our next story, zooming into the headlines. Kabata Constituency Development Fund, CDF Chairperson Chilekwa Munkonge has urged local authorities to come up with a concrete test which will assess the quality of concrete before any structure is erected using CDF.
The attitude of some contractors working on government projects over the years has been a matter of public concern, as many projects have not lived to the expected lifespan, while others have become white elephants. A case in point is Lusangazi Bridge in Eastern Province and Kawambwa District Hospital project in Luapula Province, which have allegedly been abandoned. Lusaka's Kawata Constituency Development Fund Chairperson Mr. Chilekwa Munkonge says with increased CDA from 1.6 million to 25.7 million kwacha, there is need to monitor these projects closely and ensure that materials of good standards are used. Speaking to Camnet News after inspecting some CDF projects in the constituency from 2015, Mr. Chilekwa says he is not pleased with some findings, as the floors of some buildings have already started cracking, while the windows of some clinics like the Michael Chilufya Sata Clinic were poorly done, despite some of these projects being commissioned and will need to be renovated.
For instance, like the Chilufya Sata Clinic, I'm sure the windows, they are just opening them. The windows, they are not well fixed because of the window frames. So he has to go and redo it, because we need to have proper jobs. Even the one they are building in Livala also is not okay. So we need to call a contractor. So my appeal again to the contractor, whoever will be in Kawata constituency, will be on you. We need you people to do a good job. Not that you are in Vaboma. Even if this is not about the bomber, it's about you yourselves, especially you residents of Kawata constituency.
The Kawata CDF chairperson has also called on residents to monitor current and existing projects in their constituencies and report any anomalies to the local authorities.
And my appeal to the Kawata constituency residents, please, when these projects are coming up, because there are the people are coming up with these projects, when you see these projects are coming up, especially WDC and also the residents, please, when you see things are not going well, please, you move fast and you report to CDF committee or to the council so that you monitor. These are your projects. So you should be supervisors. You don't expect maybe the chairman of the CDF to come and start inspecting, or maybe the WDC. Even you residents, you are part of this. You should also be inspecting some of these projects when they are coming up.
Some of the projects inspected in Kawata constituency include Rockfield Clinic, Kamlanga Police Post, and Mukandawire Football Grounds, among others. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
0968-675-273, 0968-675-273 is the number that you can catch us live right here in the studio. Topic of discussion is addressing housing poverty under the new government. And also, if there are any stories that caught your attention during the course of the week, well, this is the time to actually come through and let us know. Are there any promises that you feel that the new Dawn government gave you or you heard during the campaign and that you feel haven't been fulfilled. I'll use the word yet, haven't fulfilled yet, because there's still time. 5 years is a long time. Well, you can call us on 0968675273 or get to our Facebook platform and comment from there. We are still zooming into the headlines. We've looked at quite a number of stories, and also the stories that led us to having this topic of discussion.
Definitely. We'll get into another story.
We'll get into another story. Well, getting into the cold stories. Cold stories. There's two stories that have caught my attention and I have been a keen follower, and we can't discuss more because it's still in court and still under investigation. One of them is where Mr. Amos Chanda and is charged with his wife and his sister-in-law for obstructing ACC officers from conducting their investigations, and also one of former President Edgar Lungu's bodyguard who's being charged in the courts. So let's play these stories, two stories, court stories back to back, and then we'll get back with you after this.
Drama characterized the High Court in Lusaka Friday morning when a state witness called to testify in a criminal case involving former President Edgar Lungu's aide-de-camp turned hostile and refused to give his testimony, citing some reasons, among them that he was badly tortured during his detention. Testifying in a case in which former President Edgar Lungu's bodyguard, Chisanga Chanda, is accused of assisting a murder accused, Jonathan Mushanga, 38, aide a police officer of Skanse Camp, turned a half-packed courtroom in shock with his testimony as he alleged that he was detained and locked up for 3 days together with the accused person. Officer Mushanga testified that on the material day, officers went to the accused place in search of Shabi Chilekwa, the Babaman of former head of state, who is accused of murdering a UPND member. He said Mr. Chileko was found and arrested, and they too were arrested by the officers. Whilst giving his emotional chilling testimony, Mushanga told the High Court that he was subjected to torture during the time of his detention, and he was interrogated by one Mr. Evans Mainza, who he claimed is a United Party for National Development cadre, who questioned him on where the former head of state Lungu had hid the money, a question he says he had no answers for. This is in a matter in which Chanda is accused of assisting Shabi Chilekwa whilst knowing that he allegedly murdered Lawrence Banda, a UPND sympathizer, on October 6, 2019, during campaign of council chairperson by election. Mr. Chilekwa is facing murder allegations before the High Court, and he has been jointly charged with the former Patriotic Front Deputy Secretary General Mumbi Piri for the alleged murder. Meanwhile, another state witness earlier testified and revealed that Baba Shabi Chilekwa was found hiding under one of the beds when police officers searched the servant quarter of Mr. Chanda, the accused person in this matter. Trial continues. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. Former President Edgar Lungu spokesperson Amos Chanda will have to find another witness to testify in his defense following his attempt to persuade the court to summon the acting Anti-Corruption Commission Director General Silumesi Muchula failing. In the previous court session, Mr. Chanda was jointly charged with his wife Mabel and sister-in-law Ruth Nyakaundi with 3 counts, among them using insulting language and obstructing Anti-Corruption Commission officers, made an application that the Lusaka's Magistrate Court summons the acting SEC DG, Mr. Muchula, to go and testify. His application was, however, objected by the state, who had argued that the witness Mr. Chanda was trying to summon before court enjoyed immunity of staff or public immunity, and as such could not be summoned. And when the matter came up Friday morning for ruling, the court discharged the summons that Mr. Chanda had earlier issued through his counsel to the SEC acting DG. Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Dominic Makalicha dismissed Mr. Chanda's application this morning, siding through his ruling with the submissions made by the state that Mr. Muchula enjoys immunity and cannot be summoned to testify. The court in its ruling cited Section 17 of the SEC Act, which places immunity on the Director General not to testify in matters which comes to his knowledge during the course of his or her duty. The court further ruled that it did not agree with Mr. Chanda's submission that if the application is not granted, he will not be given an opportunity to be heard, adding that it was not true, as the accused person has been accorded that opportunity. In this matter, the trio is alleged to have insulted and obstructed officers from the Anti-Corruption Commission when they went to conduct searches at Mr. Chanda's premises in October 2021. The matter has been adjourned to the 6th of July 2022, and Mr. Chanda is expected to give his defense, as his wife and sister-in-law have already done so. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zero 0968675273 0968675273 is the number that you are calling us on. Right about now, we'll take a quick short break and then we'll join you on the other side.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kabimba.
You know, power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, you know, the rapid increase now or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you are in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Well, welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast, and with me, Precious Mzea, Sakaleji and Sarah Chandamwanga on the other side. And getting into our first conversation of the day, we are joined by Madam Grace Mtonga, who is the Executive Director from Civic Forum. Good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
How are you?
Good morning, viewers. I'm well, thank you.
We were expecting you to come with a basket of some tea, English breakfast.
Yes. I think I'll make up for that.
You make up for that? Yeah. No, we're actually supposed to offer you that.
After the program, we need to sort it out.
We'll be expectant.
So let's quickly get into what the non-governmental organization is about for those that haven't heard about it yet.
So, Civic Forum on Housing and Habitat Zambia is a local NGO. It was established in 2010. It operates under 3 strategic pillars. That's adequate housing and wash. So under the strategic pillar of adequate housing and wash, we also do conduct surveys. Because under this pillar, that's where we lobby for pro-poor housing policies. We can't talk about housing without land, issues of access to water, good sanitation. The second pillar is the economic empowerment and financial inclusion pillar. Because over the years we did realize to say that what makes people to live in inadequate housing is because they lack access to housing finance. So basically the economic pillar looks at empowering our target members with enterprise development, and we also try to facilitate creation of linkages to financial institutions that can actually provide suitable products that our members can actually access. You agree with me to say that access to housing finance is a great challenge. And also when you look at the housing mortgage financing facilities, they're still quite limited. And then because of where they also access this financing, very few Zambians can actually access mortgage financing. The third pillar, we try to look at issues of land and environment. So basically this pillar is a climate justice pillar. So we try to look at now issues of climate change, resilience, adaptability, and also to just build the capacity of our members with regards to climate smart housing. And because also majority of our members are rural-based farmers, we also try to empower them with skills on smart climate farming, like conservation farming, and much more also the aspect of land use management. So these are the 3 pillars that Civic Forum actually operates under, and it's also main objectives.
Okay, great. From your explanation, I've heard of a lot of housing development, land. So now looking at the 10 months that the new Dawn government has been in power, do you see, are you seeing any traction of housing development?
Unfortunately not. Recently we were trying to review the 8th National Development Plan. we did realize as civil society organizations from the housing sector that housing was actually not adequately covered in the 8th National Development Plan. We were, however, given an opportunity to engage with Ministry of Finance and National Planning. We did make our submissions. However, just on Thursday, there was a meeting. The United Nations was presenting its the development country framework for Zambia. And unfortunately, the same issues that we noted as gaps in the draft 8th National Development Plan was that housing was not even mentioned. They mentioned water and access to sanitation. But the question that begs answers is improved access to water and sanitation for who and to where. So we've continuously been dealing with the aspect of symptoms and not really addressing what are the causes. So we have not really seen that deliberate intervention into the housing crisis. Currently we have, I think it's actually beyond 1.5 million housing deficit in Zambia. But still, when you look at the aspect of the budget allocation, because the 2022 budget allocation had about 1.3% going towards water, housing and social amenities. But the largest part of the budget was actually going to water and sanitation. And at the point when they were developing actually the 7th National Development Plan, the statistics were provided. Actually, if we are going to meet the target of producing 222,000 housing units, because these are the aspirations of the National Housing Policy, Zambia needs to set aside at least 330 billion kwacha between 2020 and 2030. But when you look at the budget projections of, I think towards housing it's just about 900 million, and that needs to be shared between, it's a sector budget. So you find that what goes towards housing development is very, very low. So we have not really seen it, because the national development plans should be able to tell us what the priority sectors are. And certainly as it stands, housing is not a priority sector. But there is so much money that is going towards water and sanitation. But remember that water and sanitation, they need to be provided to housing units. Not only that, for you to provide water and sanitation, you need to provide it to well-planned communities. Again, the aspect of housing still comes into play. So unfortunately, from where I stand, I've not seen that deliberate effort from government. And it's so saddening, because housing is actually where we are all coming from. The inadequate housing has produced the delinquent youth that you see on the streets. We are calling them junkies. We've given them all sorts of names. But we are part of the problem. So if we cannot attend to housing, we cannot talk about human development. Certainly we cannot even talk about economic development, because housing provision is actually a very strategic component of the socio-economic development for any country. We have developed, we developed the 2020 National Housing Policy, and again we cannot see the policy being fully implemented, because as long as we cannot allocate matching resources to achieve the set targets of the policy, it's going to remain as mere rhetoric. We have traveled enough to attend conferences and to learn, but we are failing on the practicability side. Remember that the 1996 National Housing Policy won the scroll of One at UN Habitat. We failed to implement it. However, other countries that learned from us and have implemented it, they have made really, really brilliant strides towards housing provision for their citizens. So really, I've not seen, I can't see the impetus, I can't see the energy, I can't see the deliberate action from government, because really everything starts up from the development plans. I've not been availed yet the final draft of the 8th National Development Plan, because yes, I actually protested the time they were saying we needed to adopt it. I said it can't be adopted in its current form, because we cannot see housing in here. But then they gave us an opportunity to try and provide an input into the process. And of course, at the point they were validating the plan, they did assure us to say that the submissions that came from the housing sector are actually going to be considered. So we really want to see that at the time they start to implement the 8th National Development Plan, housing is going to be set as a priority. However, we feel a bit worried because even at the United Nations meeting that was held on Thursday, I did ask to say that because they presented under 4 pillars, there was one that was looking at people, there was one that was looking at prosperity, there was one that was looking at peace, there was one that was looking at the planet. I didn't hear anything about housing under the people pillar, which was presented as the first pillar. I looked forward to listen to the planet pillar. Again, it was silent about housing. And the way we are also packaging issues of climate change, I'm not seeing issues of housing coming out prominently. But however, when United Nations agencies were presenting their plans, they did say that they aligned it to the 8th National Development Plan. So in this regard, exactly what we saw in the draft 8th National Development Plan is what we saw also in the Development Cooperation Framework from the United Nations. So they are fitting into what we are setting as a country as a priority. So all the development cooperating partners that are going to come on board, they are trying to fit into what we have developed as a country. So I think even at the development plan processes stage, I think government needs to interrogate what is really happening. What causes cholera?
Poor hygiene.
Poor hygiene and poor housing. So at the bottom of it, there is the housing aspect. What is causing incest and defilement in most of these densely populated areas? It's inadequate housing. What is leading to this? Now we have a lot of young mothers on our streets. My heart bleeds. What kind of future are we creating? So as long as we do not attain to the basics that actually form a human character, I'm afraid the future of Zambia is on the bleak. Because the youths who are the future leaders, we are not supporting them enough. So we can talk about issues of how education for the girl child. Have you addressed the issues that are causing the girl child to be completely out of school? Have you looked at the housing situation that they are coming from? Look at this code that we are actually experiencing now. For those that are living in inadequate housing, pneumonia will soon be knocking. COVID-19, the cases have also started rising. So is government going to continue spending on health and they'll continue to tell us about the huge expenditure on health when we cannot address the causes? There are a lot of question marks. So for me, I'm actually challenging government. Can we go back to the drawing board? You are who you are today because you came from a house that supported who you have become. What is happening to 70% of the urban poor that are living in inadequate housing? So are we going to continue to address these urban challenges in piecemeals? So really, that's the question I posed to government. I challenged them during the development process of the 8th National Development Plan. You cannot separate water and sanitation from housing. You're improving access to water and sanitation for who and to where? It's about housing. So if we cannot actually address the fundamental issues that are actually leading to this inadequate access to clean water, inadequate access to sanitation, are we going to continue this piecemeal kind of interventions?
Good question. Good question. So my next question was going to be, is the housing policy living to its expectations? And that's a definite no from your side. We'll quickly get into the second one. What do you think are deliberate measures that can be put out there to reduce the cost of housing in the country?
You see, when you look at the 7 objectives of the national housing policy, they are very, very clear, and they've actually put up policy measures for each objective. The issue of affordable housing finance, it's in the scripture as well. The poor will always be with us. We need social housing development. And social housing development, we're not saying this housing is going to be free. Back in the years when I was a little girl growing up, we actually lived in a council house. Very affordable, actually. But because of the liberalization of the economy, certain things certainly went very wrong. A housing stock for the councils was sort of, at that point, the financial capacity of the councils was actually partly taken away from them. Remember, issues of water were also provided by the councils. we came up with private entities to provide water. So we saw a reduction in terms of avenues that could actually help the councils access some form of revenue that they could be able to provide services. I remember growing up, we had no garbage, we had no heaps of garbage along the roads. But now it's because the local authorities actually, they don't have the capacity. The desire might be there, but they do not have the capacity. So if government has actually, because we need to learn, and we cannot continue, because I always laugh, no, there is this conference this side and people are traveling, no, they are going to learn. What are we learning? So for me, the thing is, let's go back to the drawing board. One, to make housing affordable, can we provide social housing? Can we empower the councils once more to be able to provide housing? So now the councils are merely agents of, they'll provide land, and some of the councils actually have run out of land. We have seen this urban sprawl already, where part of the agricultural land has actually been taken, part of the rural land is also being taken. So government needs to intervene. We need social housing development. Of course, during the 1995 liberalization of the economy, they let the private sector lead the housing provision. But certainly the private sector has actually concentrated on the middle and high income earners. And where there is dire need for housing, who are the low-income earners, nothing is happening. So government needs to intervene. So what we need is a deliberate intervention from the government of Zambia to be able to provide housing. The second part is research and development. We need to build our own resource in terms of knowledge uptake. So we need to research into other available alternative building methods. Our ancestors still lived in some form of housing. That housing is not completely bad. How do we improve on that architect? We have a lot of institutions that we're not actually making use of. We can completely make housing affordable if we can research more on alternative building methods. So here, what are we doing with TDAU at the University of Zambia? What are we doing with the School of Built Environment at the Copperbelt University? There are brains there, there are energies there. So we need to also invest much more in research and development. Unfortunately, as a country, we always treasure what comes from outside. We don't even fully understand whether it is going to work for us, but we simply just adapt. The second bit is, they say they're going to create a housing finance fund. Let government do that, so that you have several entities, organizations that are actually supporting housing development in rural areas, in poor communities, including ourselves. So government needs to come up with deliberate measures, but unfortunately, even the housing budget allocation, it's very dismal to actually address the challenges of housing in Zambia. But I fear, remember that the population is growing at a very, very rapid rate. If we fail to address housing now, I don't know what it will be by 2030.
Okay, Sarah? So interesting. So I want to ask about the access of land when it comes to women, yes, at large, as a country. Do women have access to land?
Women do have access to land. However, there are a few impediments that actually limit women's access to land. One, it's when you look at the financial muscle, not a lot of Zambian women have actually got the financial muscle to be able to purchase and procure land. And most of the Zambian regions, apparently, we are still a patriarchal kind of society. So we have the gender issues coming in. So you find that certain cultures do not really permit the woman to own land. She can have access to it, but she doesn't fully own it. And also the issues of access to land with regards to purchase price. Because land like in Lusaka, oh my God, it has reached a rocket high. I can't even imagine myself being able to buy land in Lusaka at this time. So it's the issues of finance, it's the issue of customary tendencies and also practices. But generally we have very few women in Zambia who've got the financial muscle to be able to purchase land, because remember that also the survey fees are actually quite expensive. Not long ago we were discussing the implementation strategy of the land policy in Zambia. Somebody did submit to say that for you to actually get to the point where you get your title, you need to spend around 30,000 kwacha. How many women can afford that? So the main issues that actually hinder women from accessing land actually include the issue of the cost of land and also the customary practices, which seem to be much more leaned towards the patriarchal kind of system.
You have mentioned something about it being not easy for a woman to access land, but what is the country, what do you think the country is doing to make sure that a woman actually has access to land?
Yeah, so it boils back to the issue of the development of policies. But you see, having policies in place and implementing them is another. We do have brilliant policies as a country, but we actually fail to fully implement them and actually support that process. But we did discuss the strategies that the implementation of the land policy could employ if more women could actually be able to access land. That also includes engaging our traditional leaders, especially in areas where it's dominated by kind of patriarchal norms and practices. And much more also to just ensure that the 30%, as stated in the gender and equity policy for Zambia, is actually actualized. But again, it boils down to how many women are actually going to be able to have the access to raise a 30,000 to be able to process, because remember there is already the cost of somebody purchasing land. There is also the cost of processing the survey to be done, and also to pay for all the other costs until the title is done. But of course, our government has also engaged Medici. So Medici has actually also added to the numbers in terms of title deeds that have been processed. And we hope that probably that can be done probably at a much more larger scale. Because even in terms of the numbers, the set targets of the titles that are supposed to be acquired, we are not yet there. I might not have all the statistical records with me, but there is still a lot that needs to be done. So it still boils down to how have we empowered the Zambian women economically to ensure that they actually have access to land.
Okay, before we let you go, your concluding remarks. I don't want to know I didn't finish my points. So I'm giving you an opportunity under a minute.
Okay, so my concluding remarks is we need to be practical. We've done a lot of talking, we've sat in conferences, we've done the planning, but we need to be practical. The 2020 National Housing Policy and its implementation strategy is a perfect document. We are not going to achieve the set target of delivering 222,000 housing units as aspired by the 2020 National Housing Policy. If we are going to continue with 1% budget or less than 1% budget allocation towards housing. And remember, we cannot talk about development if we cannot support the functionality that supports building of human character. It should hurt everyone to see the young ladies that are becoming mothers who are on the streets. We need to get to the bottom of this. We cannot talk about water and sanitation without speaking about housing. And I've always felt our national plans should not separate water and sanitation from housing, but they need to address them holistically. And what we hope to see, especially now that as we are getting towards we're in mid preparations for the budget presentation for 2023, I hope to see that what we shall submit as recommendation towards improving budget allocation towards housing will be considered.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. We're just having a conversation with Madam Grace Mtonga from Civic Forum on Housing and Habitat, and we're just having a conversation on how addressing the housing poverty in Zambia under the new Dawn government. Well, hope you've learned one or two things. We'll just take a quick short break, and remember, you can still get in touch with us on 0968 675 2773. We're still on the Camnet Breakfast.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you are in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you are in power. So to attribute the increase the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Well, welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast with me, Precious Mzea Sakaleje. And remember, you can actually call in live in the studio if you have any contributions on the topic of discussion and what we are about to have. Now, joining me on set is Pastor Tim and also Madam Nyirenda from Living Stones Churches International. And we're just here to discuss a project that they're currently working on and how far they have gone. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So let's quickly get into the current project, the current mission. I'll start with you, Pastor Tim, that you are currently working on.
We are here visiting Living Stones churches, and because of the vulnerable children and the way they work with the vulnerable children, and I was here in 2018 and just fell in love with the way that they work with the children and help the children. So that's why we're back now. Is so that we can see what we can do to help further that and to help them continue on. Even though we're in America, we feel like we're at home here. So they have made us feel welcome and loved.
Oh, okay. Getting to you, Madam Miranda, do you have a list of the places that will be visited and some that you've already started visiting?
Yeah, we have ministries of vulnerable children's ministry in Garden Compound, Chawama, Supe, Kanyama, and Kabwata.
Okay.
Yeah, but the main thrust is in the compounds, because that's where you get a lot of poor children.
Okay, if there is someone who has a house or maybe an organization that has children that are vulnerable and would love to get your assistance, how well can get they in touch with you?
They can Google Livingstone Churches International, and they'll be able to get to our page and get in touch with us.
Okay, Pastor Tim, welcome to Zambia, let me just say.
Thank you.
Let's get into what are some of the challenges that you are currently facing during this mission, if there are any.
Here, the challenges that we're facing is trying to figure out exactly how we can help. And that's why we're here, is to see what the needs are that we can possibly help from the United States to here. They're doing a great job, but they need some extra resources sometimes, and we can help do that through Jesus Christ and some of the resources we have at home. And we're more than willing to do that because they are aboard and they are doing things that just looks beautiful in the sight of the Lord.
Okay, now looking at Zambia being on the map and also part of your project, are there any other African countries that you're looking at, or maybe the project just ends from here?
Being this my third mission coming into Africa, my heart is here for right now. This is where I'm supposed to help at this point in time. Maybe later, as God would open more doors, yes, but right now, this is where we want to help.
Okay, how long is this going to go on? Do you have a duration for how long you're going to be around?
As far as this mission for now, we'll be here until the 20th of this month.
Okay.
And we're going to try our best to come at least every 2 years, but we will try to help in between however we can without actually setting foot here.
Oh, okay, Madam Miranda, any contributions to us?
Yeah, we're very grateful to God. You know, I've been having this children's ministry since 1983. We have been feeding poor children, dressing them, buying bales of sorrow and dressing them. And I met his overseer basically in Kenya in 2015. And I talked about my ministry here, and he was very interested, and he brought in a team of about 8 people, and he was amongst the team, and his heart fell for Zambia. So he's come with another 9 people, the 10 altogether. We feed the children, give them a meal. I have a farm on which I grow a lot of the food myself, so I'm not totally dependent on America, you know.
Yes.
I grow my own food. Soybeans, maize, sunflower, make my own oil, you know, and popcorn for sale, whatever. And I've goats, chickens, turkeys. I'm able to generate my own food, but I'm so grateful to God that God has sent people who have a mission and a passion for helping me feed the children. And it will further the mission I have, the burden I have, but being able to reach more children than I could reach on my own, or as a church on our own. So we're very thankful to God for sending us the fish with the money in its mouth. You know, Jesus told Peter, go and look for the fish with the money in its mouth. So here he is.
Okay, I stand to be corrected on the names that you've mentioned of where there are vulnerable children. They're based in Lusaka.
Yes.
Are you only looking as Lusaka, only looking at the vulnerable children in Lusaka, or maybe you're going to extend the help to the rest of the country?
At the moment, it's only Lusaka. But when the Lord opens more doors, we shall definitely walk in his path.
Okay.
Amen.
Under a minute, is there anything else you'd like to contribute on?
Thank you for welcoming us to Zambia. We love y'all.
We love you too. Madam Miranda?
Well, thank you for having us, you know, and making us share our mission, our burden on TV. We're very grateful.
Okay, I know the little goes a long way, as they say. If there's anybody out there that would love to actually send in their contributions to the vulnerable children that you're helping out, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can, as I said, they can Google Livingstone Churches International, or they can come to Treetops Primary School opposite UTH. UTH is a major referral hospital. Yeah, so in case some people don't know what that means, it means University Teaching Hospital.
Okay, any specific phone number they can contact you on?
Yeah, 097 659 8846.
Okay, again.
097 659 8846.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, fortunately we've come to the dying minutes of the show. We'd love to say thank you to you for coming through, and for those that called in, and also to the guests that came through on set. I was just having a conversation with Pastor Tim and Madam Miranda from Livingstone Church International, where they are reaching out their hands to help out vulnerable children. And if you feel that you can actually be that person that can, if you have books that you don't use, clothes, or maybe you feel that you have extra pounds that you can actually lend to these vulnerable children, will do so, and look for the name of the place on Facebook, and also hope you've caught the phone number, but also you can call into Camnet TV, and I'm sure they will be able to assist you. Or from me, Precious Mzea Sakaleji, and also from Sarah Chandamwanga, Isaac Chifita, and also Amos Lungu on the other side, and also our technician Elias on the other side, would love to say good morning and thank you for watching the show. Have a beautiful day.